class. My name is Miss Lazarine, and today we're going to be going over comparing data. That will be our lesson today. As you see, I went ahead and put out some papers that are on your desk. This will help you follow along with me, and if you can't see the board, go ahead and look at the papers that I have. Everything that I will be writing up here and doing, you will also have in front of you. But before we get started, please know that if you have any questions during the lesson, raise your hand. And if you think you're falling behind, let me know ahead before we get too far and you're completely confused. So let's go ahead and get started with some of the vocabulary words. That will be the first piece of paper that y'all have on your desk. So our lesson today is going to be comparing data. All right, but we need to know, what is data exactly? Well, it's a collection of facts, such as numbers, words, measurements, observations, or even just a description of things. All right? And compare. Well, compare is basically like an estimate, a measure, a note, just some sort of a similarity or dissimilarity between two things, numbers, relations, anything that we're looking at that we want to notice a similarity between. Today we're going to be doing it on line plots. I really like line plots. I think you're able to see a little bit more, and we're going to use X's on that. A line plot is a graph showing a relation between two or more variables. It looks much like this, and on all your homework and our practice problems, I'm already going to have one of these line plots ready for you, so all you're going to need to do is fill it in, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with the steps. I'm going to read aloud the steps, and if you'll just please follow along on the piece of paper that's on your desk. We'll get started on some practice problems. So step number 1, you're going to need to put the numbers in order from least to greatest, all right? You're going to find the first number on the plot, and you're going to put an X. So for example, if this is the plot we're using, and we have a 2, we're going to come right above the 2, and we're going to put an X. Does anybody have any questions right now? Okay, it's going to be a little easier when I actually have some numbers up here and we start moving along, but let's just familiarize ourselves with this before we get started there. So we're going to continue. So for each number that we're looking at, we're going to continue by putting X's. And at the end, we're going to look on here. We're going to see which number has the most amount of X's. Which number is filled up the highest? Which number is the greatest? And that would be our answer that we're going to be working with today. All right? Does anybody have any questions? All right, so let's go ahead and get a blank piece of paper out. I'm going to do some examples on the board. I would like you to please write them down, kind of follow along, so that way you can go back when we're doing examples and you're able to kind of see if you have any confusion, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and take this down and let's get started. All right, so let's look at our first problem, and let's do 12. Let's get a marker that's a little bit better. All right, let's do 12, 7, 4, and 2 more 7s. Is everybody writing this down? Okay. All right. Now, as you see, there's a blank piece of paper that has just the line plots on it. Please go ahead and use that to fill these in, okay? So we're going to do a plot right here. And y'all already have this out, so you can actually go ahead and see it. And we're going to put these numbers in order. So the first number we're going to put is a 4. So let's go ahead and organize these so we're able to see them a little bit better. And this is going to be your first step. So step number 1 is we're going to put the numbers in order from least to greatest, okay? So we're going to do 4, 7, 7, 7, and then 12, okay? Does everybody have that wrote down? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill this in real quick. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. All right, so the 4, our step number 2. I'm going to go ahead and do it in a different color so you can see it a little bit better. Our step number 2 is going to be find the first number, all right, and let's go ahead and put it on the plot. We're going to use an X to indicate that number. So the 4. So we're going to come over here. We're going to find the 4. and we're going to just simply place an X above it. Okay? Everyone have that? All right, now we're going to continue for each number. All right, this is going to be our step number 3. So we're going to look at what we have. We already did the 4. So if you want, if it's easier for you, go ahead and scratch that out so you see that you did it and continue on. So we have a 7. In fact, we have 3 7s. So how many X's would we use? Right, we're going to use 3 X's. So let's go ahead and find the 7 on here and place those. So we don't have a 7, but we do have a 6 and an 8. So we're going to place it right between those two. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And then we can go ahead and mark out the 7, leaving us with one number, which is the 12. So let's go ahead and mark the 12 out and place it right here. All right, now we're able to look at our line plot and see which number has the most X's. And that's going to be number 7. So our answer for this problem number 1 is going to, our example number 1 is going to be 7. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward. Let's do another example. Let's do, everyone write this down, 7, 5, 5, and 1. Okay. Let's see, 7, 5, 5, 1. 7, 5, 5, and 1. All right, so let's go ahead and get our plots out, look at them, and let's go ahead and place them on there. All right, so what is the first number? We're going back over here. We're going to go to step number 1. We need to place these in order. So the lowest number is going to be 1. So we're going to put the 1 first. And then we're going to follow it with 2 5s. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and put the 7 on there, right? Can everybody see what I'm writing? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure you all have it all down. All right, good job. Good. Okay, so that was step number 1. Let's go ahead and go on to step number 2, which is going to be place an X for the first number. Our first number is going to be number 1. So let's go ahead and put the 1 X right here. Mark this out. Okay, and then we're going to follow up with 2 5s. So let's go ahead and place the 5s right here. 1, 2, and then last again is the 7. So now we're on step number 4. Which number has the greatest amount of X's? Okay, the answer is going to be 5. Good job. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one more example before we get started on our classwork and our practice problems, okay? I'm going to go make sure everyone has everything down. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. Awesome. Okay, good job. Okay, so our third and final example is going to be, let's do 10, 40, 40, and 20. So go ahead and write that down. Again, that's 10, 40, 40, and 20. I'm going to go ahead and get my line plot already done. All right. So step number 1. Can anybody tell me what step number 1 is? Yes. Right. We're going to go ahead and place the numbers in order. So the first number is going to be number 10, followed by the number 20. And then we're going to go ahead and put 2 40s there. So if y'all want to go ahead and get that done. All right. So anybody want to tell me what step number 2 is? Right. We're going to find the first number, number 10. And we're going to go ahead and place an X on it over here on our line graph. So please go ahead and do that. Mark it out. Follow the next one, which is a 20. Let's go ahead and do the 20 over here. Mark that one out. And remaining are our last 2 numbers, which are both 40. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 X's on that. So if you're starting to see the pattern, over here is that the number that occurs the most is going to be the number over here that has the most X's. So the answer on number 3 is going to be number 40. Awesome. All right, so The third piece of paper you also have in your pile is going to be our in-class work. I'd like to go ahead and let y'all get that done. I'll give y'all a few minutes for it, and we'll go over it. It's going to consist of 3 problems. I just want to make sure that you're understanding where we're at, that you're not falling behind, so that way when I give you your homework tonight, you're able to do it without getting confused and not being prepared for class tomorrow. So go ahead and please get started with that, and I'll give you about 5 minutes on a timer, okay? All right, is everyone ready to move forward and make sure that we got the correct answers? Everyone's done? Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and examine the first numbers. I'm going to go ahead and put them up here so you can follow along a little bit easier. They were 11, 6, 2, 6, 6, okay? So follow along with me. Let's make sure you got these right. 11, 2, I'm sorry, 11, 2, 6, 6, and another 6. So let's go ahead and put them in order. You'll have them in order correctly as 2, okay? 6, 6, another 6, and an 11. Awesome. Okay, so you'll have your line plots out. I would like y'all to go ahead and tell me which number was the most consistent, which number had the most amount of X's? 6. Good job. Awesome. All right, let's move on. We're going to go to our practice problem number 2. And those numbers were 2, 6, 4, and 2. We're going to go 2, 6, 4, and 2. All right, can somebody please raise their hand and place the numbers in order for me? All right, so 2, 2, 4, and 6. Awesome. All right, and which number there did y'all come up with had the most X's? Then number 2, that is correct. Great job. Does anybody have any questions? Is anybody falling behind? Everybody understands what we're doing right now? Awesome. Okay, so our last practice problem before I hand out some homework and before I let y'all go for the day is going to be the numbers, let's see, 1, 3, 1, 0, and 1. So I need another person that has not answered today to go ahead and raise their hand, and let's place these numbers in order. Step number 1. All right, so we're going to do 0, 1, 1, 1, and 3. Good job. Okay, and which number did y'all find on the line plot that had the most amount of X's on practice problem number 3? All right, number 1. Good job. All right. All right, so everyone understands we're good. Everyone has been able to follow along completely throughout this lesson. Is that right? Okay. All right, so I'm going to hand out some homework, and it will be due tomorrow when you come to class. Today we learned about how to use different numbers to compare. We should be able to place the numbers in order from least to greatest and place them on the line plot. Please place your desk back, and if you have any questions, please come see me after class. All right, have a good day.